Hey, what's up guys, KH Media here. Today we're going to be taking a logo from a company. In this case we're going to be doing the Chevy logo and we're going to be turning it into a 3D object in Cinema 4D. Alright, so we are in Adobe Illustrator. We are going to open up an image that I found on Google. Preferably at least 1080 by 1920 is the resolution of the image that you want. So I'm going to go up to open. I already have it saved. It's a Chevy symbol. Here it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to Object, and we're going to go to where is it? Image Trace. Make. And I also want my Image Trace window here so we can see this. Here, this is it. Okay, so I already hit Trace. So it's just a black and white symbol. And now what we're going to want to do is go back up to Object again, go to Image Trace, and go to Expand. And that breaks it up into different layers here. And so click out, click this. So I'm going to delete this white part up here and this white part. And I'm going to leave the center white part because we're going to make that a different color in Cinema 4D. And then this is the outline. So we'll have two different shades. We'll probably have a silver outline and probably a gold inner part of this Chevy symbol in Cinema 4D. And now the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the center layer and I'm going to click Control C. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to create new layer, and I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to click Control V. And then what that does is it breaks the Chevy layer into two different layers here. So I've got the center white part on one layer and then the outline on another. Now what I'm going to do is I just have to move it so that it fits back in there because it moves it a little for some reason. So right about there, that looks right. And we're also going to rename this. So double click to rename, and we're going to say white inner. So then whenever we import this into After Effects, we know which layer is which. And then this is going to be outer Chevy. So we just understand that. Okay. So now what we can do is go up to File, Save As, and we're going to save it as an Adobe Illustrator, and just make sure you have it at the file path you want it to be at, and click Save, and then it's going to prompt you here, and you're going to do this drop down right here, and you're going to go to Illustrator 8. That's the version of this file that we needed to save to be able to do what we want to do in Adobe After Effects and Cinema 4D. Click OK, OK, and then we're ready to go into After Effects. Okay guys, so the next step here is we're going to import our Adobe Illustrator file. And we're going to have composition, layer size is fine. And then what we're going to do is go up here to the folder it created. We have our two layers, and we're going to hit Shift and click on the other one, drag these two files down, and we're going to say single composition, okay. And then we're going to click the 3D cube to make these 3D layers. And then next we're going to make sure that this is on ray traced. Sometimes if you're doing this the first time it might be on classic 3D. We can go ahead with this, and then we're going to right click and we're going to click Create Shapes from Vector Layer. Okay. Now we're going to Control click both of the Adobe Illustrator files and delete. And now we're ready to bring this into Cinema 4D. So go up here to File, File, Export, Maxon Cinema 4D. And I already have a file created from earlier. I'm just going to overwrite that and click Save. Okay, now we're going to import our Cinema 4D file. Okay, we have it imported. Then we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go to Edit Original on the Cinema 4D file to edit in Cinema 4D. Okay, close this dialog. Now we can, a quick refresher on the controls here. Alt, you can rotate around your object. Well, I should say hold Alt and click and drag your mouse around to rotate. 1, you can also rotate a little bit slower while holding 1 and dragging your mouse. 2, you can zoom out, in and out. And 3, you can also kind of go side to side and rotate as well. So those are some of the shortcut keys. The other thing that we want to check right off the bat is to make sure that this is in high resolution. So we're going to go up here. If you hold your mouse over, you'll see it says Edit Render Settings. Under Edit Render Settings, for some reason, I don't know why, this is not 1920 by 1080. So we're going to go to 1920. Whoops. There we go. 1920 by 1080, perfect. Now we're in high definition for whenever we go to render this. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to extrude this layer, the inner white part of the Chevy symbol. So I drop this down, and then we're going to go up here to extrude. Click extrude. That adds this up here at the top. Outer Chevy level layer, we're not going to do anything with that. We're going to do the white inner Chevy symbol layer. And we're going to click, and the arrow is pointing down. We're going to drop it on the extrude. Okay. And then we're going to click the plus button right here. And we're going to click on this. And then we can go right here to the last one, and we're going to extrude it. And then if you rotate over, whoa, what is going on here? Sorry, I was having some problems. Okay, there, that's better. Now you can see this extruded it out more, so we can just push it towards the front, so we see it on the front, and now it's extruded on the front. Okay, great. Next thing I'm gonna do to add a little bit more style is we're gonna click on this, and we're gonna go over here to basic, where is it? Caps, that's it. Cap, and we're gonna go to fillet cap, and that adds a little bit more of a beveled edge. And actually, I lied. We are going to drag the other outer Chevy outline onto the extrude, arrow pointing down. There we go. And then we're going to go to right here, click plus, click that, and we're going to add this fillet cap too, to add a little bit more style to it. Okay, now I'm going to completely redo my colors on these. So this black, I'm going to delete. This, I'm going to delete. And a shortcut to see a quick render of what you're looking at here is Alt-R, and that brings up a preview screen. So we can use that. If you want to render completely, you can click Render View. But in the meantime, whenever we're changing the colors, creating the colors, we're just going to leave the render screen up like that. So down here, I'm going to create a new color. I'm going to double click. There's matte color. I'm going to double click that. And then I'm going to click up here in the color window. And I'm going to select the color I want. And you can see right here, this is the color we're at right now. And I want kind of a gold. So I think right about there. And we're going to click that onto the inner part. And see, so you see it renders the color. If we want a full render, we can click that. And I'm actually going to change it a little bit more because I don't quite like that. Something like that. Yeah, that's more of a Chevy color. Okay. So now I'm going to add, there's a glow down here. We're going to checkbox that, and that's going to add a glow. Obviously, that's very bright. I'm going to bring that down a lot. And inner glow, we're going to bring down to 25. And outer strength, we're going to bring down to 250. Okay, that's looking good. And then to add some texture to the Chevy symbol, we're going to go to bump. And I'm going to click the checkbox there. And then right here, texture, we're going to do this drop down. And we're going to go to click noise. Now, right away, this looks a little weird. That is obviously not what we're going with. we're going to go down to click noise, and then we're going to click right here, noise again, and we're going to click Luca. That's a pretty cool texture, and so there's a lot of grain. It adds more of a realistic texture there, but I'm going to make that a little bit different, and to do that I'm going to go here to global scale, and we're going to boost that up to 500. There. And now you render that out. That's pretty cool, I think. So that's all I'm going to do with that inner color. Now with the outer color, I'm going to create another color for out here. And we're going to drag that on to that. And then we're going to double click it. And we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to go up here to color. We're going to click up here. And we're going to create our color that we want. I want kind of a grayish black, so right about there. Okay, you render that out. That's about what you're looking at. I'm actually going to change that a little bit more. And that looks about right for now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to glow. And I'm going to change that the same way I did before. Bring that down, bring the inner glow down to 25%, bring the outer glow down to 250, and, oh, inner strength. I think I changed that incorrectly. 50, there we go. Okay, and if we rotate it, we can kind of get a different view of it. Now we're going to add some lights. So right up here, you can go to the light tool. And we're going to click just light. And what this is going to do, we're going to drag this out. And you can see we're actually going to get a different view here. We're going to hold 2 to zoom out. 2 and click out. And this is going to be our key light. Click R to select rotate for the light. And E to move it back and forth, up and down on the different axes. Okay, there's one light. Now we're just going to duplicate this light. So Control C, and then Control V. Okay. And then what you can do is move this light where you want it. So that's our fill, and we're actually going to turn that down a little bit so the intensity isn't so high. Okay, and so you can see we're starting to get a nice 3D render here. And if you want, you can add a backlight, but I think I'm going to leave that alone for the purpose of this tutorial. You get the point. You can add more lights. You can change the texture. One more thing I should show you is the content browser over here. There are some presets, and you go to the light version since we're in Cinema 4D Lite, and you go to materials, and they have all different textures that you can add here. They have liquids, so if you want a pool, you can make it look like blue. We're gonna do that. I don't really like that. That didn't turn out great. They have more. And if you want this, your other color that you made back, then just drag it on. Well, that's not working, of course. There we go. Now it's back. Okay, now you can see that. You can click the up arrow, go back. One of my favorites to do with text is the glass, the blue glass effect. We're going to Control Z on that. Let's do it to the outer rim. There we go. Ooh, that kind of looks cool. Ooh, I might keep that. How about that? Yep, I'm sticking with that. And you can also go to the texture, the editor for the glass, and if you want to add a glow, you can add a glow. We're gonna bring that down, and there you go, the Chevy symbol. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and This has been KH Media.